have been incredibly good this season. And we'll see how they match up versus Changsik and Bernard.
I mean, Bernard has been consistently rated as, in my eyes, one of the best divas, if not the best diva, or off-tank in general in NA Contenders. So, a lot to live up for, even if Gods has been very good this season.
Poke war going to be beginning here between both teams. As we kick off our second semifinal, heavy shield damage coming in to Changsik early on. Be backing on up, who, by the way, back in the roster, clearly with better ping. One has to assume because it's not Beast Halo. That's out over here. And Montreal actually doing a bit of bullying here, keeping Fusion Uni back. Bernard eating a lot of damage, having to back out, and Montreal getting real close to first capture. They're going to get it!
Not only getting first cap, but look how deep Nice is. Is Nice able to get out? I cannot believe Nice gets out there.
Well, Nice gets out, but Karkar had to try and speed him away. Karkar ends up getting caught in turn. And Montreal getting the early cleanup, and again, just set up by having a better poke game.
They're going to get the stall here. They're going to have to delay onto Bernard as well. He's 1 HP, going to be easily cleaned up. He's walking. He's going to be trying to walk to the edge. He's actually on the Zen. Going to be cleaned up now. That's going to be stagger. So first flip, way of Montreal. Much better shield presence, I have to say. They had a lot better shield war versus Changsik in order to get that isolation to Nice and catch Karkar because of it.
The swapping back and forth for Fusion University is really weird to me, how they keep going between Beast Halo and Changsik. I know that there's a lot of...
He said he was going to be out too because for ping, so he has to be in the States more than likely.
You would think, or they're running him with high ping, which is even weirder. But the lack of consistency, I think it's hurt. Oh, into the pit we go.
Into the pit. Now this Fusion Unity have the opening to move forward while there's no shield. They can take some positioning, and they're on point now.
Gonna get back on the point. They're taking the stairs back up, and oh, the shatter in for Sharik. Sets up for 2 easy pickoffs from Montreal Rebellion, and Fusion Uni, despite a decent start, getting people into the pit, doesn't amount to anything.
Not only was that shatter from Sharik huge, it removed Alarm's trance. There's no trance now for Alarm. They can move forward, they can look for a free grab. If Logic just hits the grab, as long as it's not eaten, there's not going to be a beat for Karkar, they'll have a much better chance of cleaning it up.
So Montreal, a clean 73% to 0, and Fusion Uni has not built up a whole lot.
No, they've been very, very low in ults.
Logics right now just working on the side.
Solo grab.
They solo grab Logics, but that's okay. Bring the trends. Oh, he's charged to the side and taken out.
He was solo comboed. They even invested Bernard's Diva Bomb as well. They made sure that there was no grab.
Montreal can still fight this back. They invest the barrier here, boom the other way. Now they do lose Transcendence essentially for nothing. But Fusion Uni doesn't have a lot of reserve. Alarm has been dreadfully silent here so far. And Sharik forced into the pit. It was the pit or death. Chose the pit.
This delay is also incredible for Montreal. They don't lose anyone. They still have combo. Logix is back.
Grab time invested by Logix, and there's the combo! Gods gets 2! Is this really going to be a 99 to 0?
My goodness, ZP.
For Montreal!
That was one of... Fusion Uni could not only could they not get any frags there, Sharik drops to the pit, gets the actual pack, but they delayed so long. Logix, after getting solo comboed, by the way, grabbed the bomb, returns, and sets it up.
I mean, Montreal should have done some tactical CPR on them there because Fusion University couldn't breathe.
That was a choke. That was a huge choke. Now, Montreal up 1, catching that first round here on Oasis. Fusion Uni struggling to close out these frags, struggling to win these initial neutral fights.
This could be the day of upsets. If this keeps up, of course, it's only 1 round, and Fusion Uni, of course, they like playing with Fate and getting to a map 5, but what more can you say for Montreal except pure domination?
I could say, Logix have to be pretty happy after getting solo comboed and coming back and setting up the fight-winning combo there.
It's like, yeah, I'm kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal. I get solo combo. Thanks, Mr. Logix.
Sharik's gonna be heading here to the side. Protect the elevator as we're jump on up. And oh wow, pressure moving to Sharik. He's like, I'm not sure the elevator will be fine. Nope. Still heavy pressure moving in onto him. Both teams going back and forth. Snillo's sleeping on the job. Goliath taking a good sleep. Keeping Snillo out of the fight for a little bit. Montreal gonna be rotating back around. Sharik only at 35% here so far.
Notice how Montreal is playing EMP. They're playing Sombra here.
Yeah, you get a lot of damage, and the fact they're on Sombra and keeping this even is remarkable because Logix is getting pretty close to EMP.
The hack is out on the Snillo, but not going to go down. The aggression, too much. Fusion Uni, they're sustaining. They have the pick. They can play slow here to play around Alarm and slowly but surely win the fight.
In Montreal, I think that this is where people end up getting staggered pretty heavily. Goliath is down. Fusion Uni just, again, slow it down a bit. But the problem is that they're not getting progress with all this going on. So Montreal, their stagger, it's not as impactful as it would be if Fusion had control.
Logix has EMP here. Logix has EMP. They do have the rally. They're going to have the nano. They have all they need to follow up. There's necessarily no great zoning ults up just yet since Nice does not have the grav. Alarm's going to have a great nano to keep. Probably it's going to be Chonzik, maybe someone else alive.
The difficult part here is getting a good EMP engage with Fusion United high ground, but okay, EMP's still gonna hit 4.
Where's the follow-up?
Yeah, Montreal, they're slow on the follow through here, but they still get Bernard out of mech. Chonzik has to use Primal, has to use it later in the fight. Graviton in, but the Graviton fall through is there, and it's completely okay for Fusion University. And I gotta tell you, I expect Logic to swap off the Sombra here.
Yeah, it's happening right now. They're gonna be swapping. Goliath will go Zin here as well. Alarms on the Ana. Did not get really any value off the EMP. Nice built his grab in time, which is really the most important ult for Fusion Uni to win that fight, and they just could not survive through. They had their defensive ults.
Not in the least, and Montreal resetting right now in a very deep hole where not only are you going to need to play perfectly from here on out, but they're going to need Fusion Uni to make some mistakes.
What's great for Montreal here is that they have double tank ult. They have the ability to split them with the Primal, set up their bomb. They got the beat if they need it. They need to look to just be aggressive here. Just commit. Commit your Winston to the fight. There's no Zen to burn him. Sharik has the ult. Use your Zen as an advantage and the fact that you have Primal.
And Fusion Uni, they're not under pressure at all here. They're saying, okay, we'll do this dance forever. We're okay with this. We're getting payload, or we're getting point progress. You're not getting any.
And 3 members for Anti got so low, doesn't get cleaned up though.
Sharik going to the back using Primal, forcing Fusion Uni to turn their attention towards him. The rest of Montreal, they have to focus on the point. They can't really back Sharik up right now. Sharik, get the slow for Eda kill. He's getting real close. Still needs help. He's going to get it towards the very end.
Right now, everyone just still on the point. Just 99% already from Fusion Uni. There's the bomb for Gods. Can it catch anyone?
Bomb out, and no, it doesn't catch anyone at all. Fusion Uni looking much, much stronger here on the city center. It's all a matter of fall through for them here. Fall through that they're pretty likely to get. So the verticality of the stage, not
Goliath has
for
trance
Montreal.
though. Goliath has trance. This fight actually is not totally over just yet. The rally going to be traded right there. Naga rally known. He gets anti though. Cleaned up Alarm, getting that huge anti. And now it's just going to be stalled. I think it's over here.
Yeah, I mean, you have emergency Hammond rolling on in, but again, the problem when up against 3-3 is that getting a stray pick off when you're down players just doesn't happen very often.
I think if the anti doesn't get out for Alarm there was a real chance for Montreal to fight it back. But since Naga gets anti, gets cleaned up, there was no real way to sustain to win the fight from there. Montreal had to be a lot more aggressive in that repush when they swapped Zin and Sharik had the Primal. Alarm's on Ana. Just move forward. Walk forward while your Primal is making you space. If you need to, you can zone yourself with your bomb. You're not going to get burned through Discord. You're not going to have to worry about them popping a defensive ult. But they played so passive, and playing passively only benefits the Ana there.
I also just think Montreal was in too big of a hole going for Sombra, where City Center I don't think is a super ideal Sombra point. It's very hard for a Sombra to A, get an EMP that's hitting enough people, and B, everyone to be in a position to fall through, where the terrain makes it difficult to just quickly dive on a team after an EMP. So Montreal going to be going back to the tried and true here. Going to be 3-3 versus Fusion Uni's 3-3. Both teams opting for the Winston variety.
You see the Winston duel, the Divas for both teams on the high ground. Better bubble usage though for Montreal here. They are able to win this first fight, just poke them. They don't win it, they just win the first fight from the high ground and poke them off.
And Chonzik, you see, just going, okay, I'm going to go a little bit back here. Give this a little bit of room now. Heading back up and over. Fusion Uni take a second crack at it, but Bernard so low from poke from Montreal. Montreal, meanwhile, looking relatively healthy. And even though Bernard's still in mech, the pressure from Montreal is just really throwing Fusion University for a bit of a loop.
Sharik also is going to have Primal first. It's already 86%. He will get it in time, which means you can commit, you can move forward, you can force this transcendence to Alarm, and he does.
Yeah, Sharik's moving on in, and now this gets a lot more difficult for Fusion University. As you say, they use the Transcendence early, but already Sharik down! Alarm able to fish him off, coming out of the Transcendence. Graviton using on the other side. Fusion Uni looking for the sweet cleanup on the backhand side. Goliath down, and this should be Fusion University's point.
This is definitely Fusion point. And Montreal are committed ults in a fight where I don't think it was one overall. The one saving grace here is they cleaned up nice. They were able to bash him in, but they're getting staggered here. Naga dying late, which is not what they needed.
I think the key here going next fight, you have to look at the interaction between Logix and Alarm, where can Alarm build the Transcendence up before Logix can identify a good grab? If the answer is no, I think Montreal actually has a pretty good retake.
I mean, Karkar will still have beat too. Karkar is going to have his 85% to the beat, so even if Logix can get the grab off before Alarm has trans, there's a real chance that Karkar has beat. He has 94, 95. He will have it.
Heat can be up. Graviton up for Logics. Toxic going to the back. Another Primal. All set up, ready to go. Coming in and now just looking for the disruption on the Shriek who swapped over the Ryan.
Now the Primal been mostly mitigated. They were able to kite it away, get some damage off. They lived through the Primal, but Alarm and Kargar both have ults.
And Alarm is going to be able to transcend immediately reaction to the Graviton coming up here. Graviton in from Logics. And it's not time. They decide not to use support ults. Johnsik just falling as Alarm uses the Transcendence later into the fight. When
They
only 5
consciously committed to not use support ults there for Johnsik. They wanted the Trance to come out later to contest the point, to allow Nice to have the chance to maybe even get this grab up.
Construct in here from Bernard. Hit by a little bit of room. Shriek under pressure, drops the Shatter. That's one way to get people off your back. As Montreal off the Shatter, now in a much better spot to retake, but Fusion Uni's built up a very big lead.
A very, very still tanky. You see Karkar, he's still on the point. They need to go to Karkar. They need to do something. Goliath, he gets the armor pack. They do get the T-Mech now. This delay is so long. Goliath is so low. We'll live though.
So Montreal on the board after Fusion Uni is at 76%, and the Fusion University, they're playing much better now than they did back on round 1. Call it a warm-up round, call it whatever you want, but Montreal's in a tough spot.
There's one team that has to warm up and get some steam moving. It's Fusion Uni. Alarm also, based off that late support ult usage where they let Chonzik die, recognizing they probably weren't going to be able to save him either. He has another trance already, and Logix does have that grab.
Now, a little bit of pressure going to be heading on to a point. Fusion Uni just stepping their toe over the line. Meanwhile, Montreal, barrier out, heavily aggro charge the other way. Forces out the Transcendence from Alarm. Graviton, Montreal, looking for the follow through, and they get Chonzik. Transcendence faded. Nothing was there to keep him on up. And Montreal going to take the fight, but the question here is, how does Fusion Uni look ult economy-wise after that fight?
Pretty good. I think they're still in a fine spot. They're going to have the only problem is they don't have combo. They have Grav, they're coming up on Shatter, there's just no combo available. And while Goliath has that Transcendence, it makes it a lot harder, especially since Montreal will be playing pretty split here. So it's going to be tough to set up an effective corner grab where you can get a charge. Really, I think they might have to take another dry fight or just hope this grab is great or Tronza gets a great Shatter.
The problem is for another dry fight here is that the next fight, if they lose this one, is not going to be giving them a lot of time, especially if they wait a while to engage. They're going to decide to go ground here, pressure for progress.
It's really going to be up to the Chonzik versus Shriek here, I think. I think Chonzik versus Shriek will determine this round up because he can trans grabbing grab.
Graviton out here first from Nice. Chonzik does have Shatter yet. Builds up in the middle of the fight. Then take his time going for Chonzik. Bernard! Self-destruct with 2 set up by the grab. It's going to be a retake here from Fusion University. Montreal, now at this point, they got to let it go.
And it wasn't the Ryan games that came into play there, but it was a good charge from Chonzik setting up the bomb for Bernard. He got the combo in time. But now there's no combo. There's no rally. You're coming up against double support ult Shatter for Fusion Uni versus really bomb. Just only bomb for Montreal. Gauze is going to have to pull some magic out of a hat here.
If any Diva would do it, though, it would
Look how close they're
probably be
holding.
Gauze. Oh,
no, they didn't get anything.
Chonzik was holding a little bit far up. Of course, he prevents him from touching points even better, but here comes God's bomb. Is the magic we were hoping for? It takes down Karkar. That might be enough.
Karkar dead before beat, but the Shatter from Chonzik is out.
Not enough.
All right, there's nothing they could get there. The zoning bomb, sure, great. They catch Karkar, but at the end, and they force the trans, but at the end, nothing. They couldn't. They just too many ults.
God's gonna be the final one to fall. So after a truly dominant start from Montreal, Fusion Uni, they kind of wake up and they go, but wait, we're Fusion University. That's right. And they end up taking the next 2 rounds, heading back in, kind of a mini reverse sweep in true Fusion University style.
That is the Fusion Uni we know. Some have come to love, some have come to hate. It depends on where you stand on them, but they reverse sweep quite often. They don't lose control too often either.
No.
And that is that's been their game mode for a very long time now. So they are going to pick that first map, going to take Oasis. And what looked like an incredible showing initially for Montreal, their momentum slowed down a lot more as the round went on, the map went on, and they couldn't find that same value they were finding on University.
Also, I mean, weird thing for me is that, again, it's not that he was necessarily playing bad, but when Montreal has been doing well and kind of going back to when Second Wind was doing well, part of it was that Gods was playing out of his mind with multiple hero plays, raw bombs, getting pickoffs, Diva grab eats, and all the rest. And it's not necessarily right to expect a Diva to do that all the time, but it was a fairly quiet game for Gods.
It was. He didn't have the same impact, I think, that we've expected of him for the past, especially on Second Wind. Shriek had a great game. I think Shriek initially was having a fantastic game, outplaying Chonzik. but they just could not find any value from there on after University, which was so reliant on Sharik setting up those moments and their support line just allowing them to stall long enough for Logic to just get back. But they can readjust. They can readjust as the series goes on, and Control has always been Fusion Unity's map type.
Well, the other thing, too, is that Montreal, in the very beginning, it was interesting because they were doing way better in the neutral game as well. They were winning shield wars pretty effectively. But then as time went on, it felt like Fusion Unity just adapted to a degree, and the shield war became a lot more even, especially in alt-neutral fights. But the one thing I'll go back and look at, I just don't think Sombra on City Center was the right play, especially for how Montreal generally plays.
It's tough to make it work, for sure, and they were just not making it work. So probably need to make the swap a little bit sooner there. They weren't playing their strengths as opposed to especially when you're playing against the Ana. You need to make those swaps a little bit sooner. But we are going to be getting into our second map very, very soon. And this Fusion Unity currently up 1. They do that little mini reverse sweep as it's Kings Row, the home of 3-3, really. Really the birthing grounds of tank comps.
It is true. And again, you think back to the era where you got a lot of 2-2-2, you'd still see quite a bit of Ryan Zarya here on Kings Row. And reason is, of course, closed-in map. Pretty beneficial to tanks and that sort of gameplay. And now remember, this our playoff format, this is the map choice coming in from Montreal Rebellion. So they understand that Fusion Uni is a very good 3-3 team. They don't care. They want to take the fight on Kings Row.
They do. I feel like, if anything, Montreal should feel confident in their 3-3s matchup because Sharik has looked fantastic so far. Not just before this, but also during that control map. He's been a bright spot for them. And 3-3 on Kings Row is a way to enable your main tank very easily.
So right now, waiting for both teams to set on up. And again, to kind of reiterate the stakes, even though Fusion Uni always has this way of looking mortal, it was fairly shocking that they lost to Mayhem back in the end of the regular season. And Montreal, for as much as they've improved, this would be an upset if they were able to take down Fusion Uni. And I mean, it was scary on the beginning of Control where it looked like, whoa, is this going to happen again? But, classic Fusion Uni style.
Arguably could be a bigger upset than the one we just saw last series, where Legion beat AMAM Academy.
At least for the last series, Bishu is a super notable OWL player, and him having a good series, it gives you an explanation. Montreal, after all their struggles coming in, be a little bit more unexpected, I would say.
Now Montreal going to be on the offense here first. Remember, it's the loser picks map, so we talked about how Montreal had picked it. Winner picks side. Fusion Unity decided to defend first. They are running the Ana here, so their goal is going to be getting this nano boost up very quickly.
Montreal taking their time to a degree here, not being super aggro, just letting the poke forward develop. Now rotating around, looking for a bit of pressure onto the main tank. Johnsick just going to go, I'm going to back up a bit here. And Bernard getting right to the face of things, trying to make a bit of space, but instead gives up his mech. He couldn't get away, just got displaced into a very tough spot.
And now Montreal are in such a good spot.
Yeah. Montreal actually should be able to get point A outright off this, especially with the late stagger onto Alarm. I mean, the golden rule of Kings Row, if you lose one early, no one else can die.
They are solo capping this right now. They were trying to get a little more poke. They're going to come back now. Alarm respawning back onto the Xin. Usually, if they're feeling it, if they're feeling aggressive, they're feeling confident, they could recontest, but I don't think they will.
They should not do it, and they don't. Just too much can go wrong if you try and rush in there with bad positioning with that little left on cap.
Montreal now capping first. Very quickly punishing Bernard there when he's trying to make that space, trying to peel. They have the trans advantage. They are equal in the rallies here, so probably going to engage with the rally, maybe trans after, maybe set up their shatter if they can.
Also nice out building logics to a fair degree here. Shriek moving in off the rally. Gets spooked over. Could have used it for a shatter, but no, gets stunned. Again, gets spooked, but used the shatter. Gets Fusion Uni, knocks down 2. Fusion Uni betraying themselves.
Betraying themselves, but Chonzik sets up the counter shatter. And while the charge was out for Shriek, if he gets cleaned up here, this fight is still definitely winnable for Montreal. It definitely is winnable now. Just going to be focus fire here. Nice will not commit grab. Should not commit.
Was that Karkar who sent Shriek that far deep into his own team? Because obviously the goal is to get displacement, but it just gave him a perfect shatter.
It was tough to see exactly who's out of the boot. More than likely Karkar, but definitely a case of friendly fire there in terms of moving Shriek forward into a better position for shatter.
Shriek is like, oh cool, for one fight only, I've gotten Hanzo's lunge. This is fantastic.
Always nice to get those extra movement abilities. Are we in the Overwatch workshop? Have we gotten the the custom game mode Ryan?
Let Reinhardt lunge.
beat Montreal moving forward, setting up their next engagement here. They do have combo.
Graviton can be used pretty early here. Usually looking for a semblance of security. The bomb from Bernard. Oh, nicely layered onto the payload. The positioning there good, but Gods, same as well. 5v5, still winnable for the Rebellion, and they decide they want to go for it. They use the rally, and this is actually looking to be their fight.
This is very winnable. I mean, Goliath has Transcendence up. They didn't have it up there. Tinsa had a very well-timed beat, putting it at the last possible moment to keep as many people alive. They're winning the fight on point. The Shatter out again for Sharik.
Goodbye and good night.
Bye-bye. That should be the fight.
That was the exclamation point, Shatter. It's when you turn your hammer into grammar.
Into grammar. Wow, I like that. That's a smart little play on words there. I haven't heard that one before, honestly. You've been saving that, huh?
No, it actually just came into being randomly there. There's no forethought. Let's not give myself too much credit.
Now Fusion Uni moving forward into this next fight. We'll have Beat. We'll have Shatter of their own. They know that there are no supportals really up for Montreal. There's no grab. They're very, very free to set up this combo. Be even aggressive with the Beat if they want. Or the trance of their own.
You see the Shatter or barrier out here early from Fusion Uni. Taking the fight right back to Montreal. Montreal says, all right, we're just going to back out. We're actually not too afraid.
Well, that was great for Montreal.
Yeah, it was incredible. Now, the boop, the bomb to the back, and gets alarm. Excellent timing from Gods on the self-destruct there, and Montreal's going to get a whole lot of progress off this one.
And Fusion Uni did not find it. They didn't really remove any cooldowns from Montreal previously to engaging with the Beat. They weren't even directly on top of them. Tinsa saved the speed boost. They could just run away, counter rally back in. Great disengage from Montreal. Fusion Uni not setting up that aggressive push very well.
Montreal in a fantastic spot here. Fusion Uni, though, with ults to spare. Bomb out early from Bernard. In effect, no, actually, gets Logix towards the very end. Or was that him remeching that got Logix?
It was the remech.
It was the remech.
It was the remech that got Logix, and the Shatter from Tronzik also keeping members on the ground, allowing them to clean up those frags. They win the recontest. They stop the snowball. They stop any chance of the cap happening incredibly quickly. Well, look at Montreal's ult bank. They're coming up soon on the grab. They're going to have double support ults.
I still think that's okay for Fusion Uni, where there's a world where they could have thrown way more ults into that, but they didn't in this case. So they still have ammo left this next fight.
Nice is going to be the focus point here. If we can get the grab up, if we can remove Goliath's trance in particular, Citadel also will be in a position to just clean up afterwards with that rally.
Goliath thinking back now, Transcendence to reserve. Sharik open up with the Shatter, puts alarm to the floor. If they can finish him off, there's not going to be a Transcendence.
Well, Sharik got sent off the map, so definitely not going to be able to clean up there.
Yeah, so not only do they not finish off alarm, Sharik is down, and it's almost like someone hit rewind right now. As all Montreal's just casually heading on back, not going to be able to win the fight, losing your Ryan that swiftly.
Trading the rally there for the Shatter and winning the fight. I mean, not only getting the Shatter out, but the beat, too. Tinsa investing in that fight, too. Montreal getting stymied here a bit on the last, and not having double support for a grab is really not where you want to be.
This is really good for Fusion Uni, where they were bleeding heavily after point B. They've staunched it a bit here in point C. Nice, of course, just holding back here. Graviton at the ready. Bernard, not really close to combo. But Montreal not being very swift here. Fusion Uni just playing the poke war and getting more and more time.
The problem with being swift is that they don't have beat. They don't have Shatter. They don't have a lot invested. They're waiting for Gods' bomb. Now they have Gods' bomb. They're putting so much shield pressure here onto Chauncey.
The shield pressure is actually very good for them right now. They're a good deal ahead of it. That's why Chauncey can't even hold up the shield. Lets him regenerate a little bit. Now it's shifted the other way. Shriek, they might have to relax a little bit. Oh, the shield up. They thought it was about to break. That's why he went for it there instead. Chauncey in a much rougher spot. Transcendence going to be used here by both sides. Graviton in a little bit late. Self-destruct layered to the back, but it's shielded off. Montreal still in a good spot. Shriek, though, needs to live. He absolutely must live here. But while they're focused on him, Naga all into alarm off the other side. And Fusion Uni gonna hold one more time.
Gonna hold here again. The fight taking so long there. Fusion Uni didn't feel the need to engage. They didn't feel the need to do anything other than just trade shield war, wait for the counter combo, which is exactly what they did there. Montreal, their time is now. This is their fight when there's no support ults on the field. They know there's no grab on the field. You look to split with Gods' bomb, set up the Shatter. You have beat for after. This is the fight they need to be very aggressive.
Montreal moving in, and you say they need to be pretty aggressive, and it does look like that's going to be the case. Fusion Uni, meanwhile, they want to stall it out. Gods with the raw bomb to the back and gets nice! Nice out of the fight early. Chomsik into the pit. An absolute disaster for Fusion Uni. Montreal, a perfect engage. And that should be them getting the point with time to spare.
Getting the point with time to spare. The delay is going to come out here for Fusion Uni because they didn't even touch. It's going to be no.
No. The answer is no. And I mean, if Chomsik was able to get to the point there, that actually would have been huge because I think they could have delayed it to overtime.
They could have, but they're still going to be dealing with the focus fire issues. They're still going to be dealing with the fact that Shadow is going to be up. Not a lot in their bank in return, especially with Nice going down so early. No grab, only 60%. Fusion Uni still having a good defense overall. I think holding them for that long onto the third gave them a lot of trouble. Gave them an extreme amount of trouble. They couldn't really move forward. They couldn't deal with the ult economy. Montreal now moving forward. Going to be on the defense of their own. I imagine we'll see an Ana from them. Ana is really the comp that we've seen a lot more on defense, more so than offense, because you can play slow. You can just wait for your nano boost to come up and just play the sustain.
So now we swap sides. Montreal able to finish King's Row, but not really a quick time, to put it mildly. A little bit of time in reserve. And King's Row, I mean, it's a map that teams usually do complete, so Fusion Uni in a pretty good spot here. And even if they end up finishing in overtime, say their attack doesn't go so well, they're still going to get extra time because they're able to drain Montreal below a minute. So if you're Fusion Uni after winning map 1, a good defense here at King's Row, you're feeling pretty good about your situation.
You can definitely feel confident. Fusion Uni gonna scout here a bit. I doubt they'll be running these DPS heavy setups. Just gonna be looking to set it up, just see what Montreal's running, then make the swaps back on a 3-3.
So, Fusion Uni, as expected, swapping over to 3-3. And Fusion Uni, at times, a team that tends to be pretty swift in their early engages. Montreal, though, has been checking them with good shield pressure on both ends.
And no Ana out for Goliath either. They are going to be running the Zen instead. You see these bubbles traded. A lot of early poke onto Chomsik.
He got chunked as he went over, and again, really good damage coming onto him here. A lot of cooldowns expended to actually keep Fusion Uni still alive, and yet still alive they are. Montreal not able to capitalize on getting the better of the poke war here to begin with, so Fusion Uni can turn this around.
They're not able to capitalize, but they also don't lose anything. They're in a good position. Shield pressure on the Chomsik very high, but look at the counter shield pressure on the Shriek.
Shriek has to give ground here. His shield got way too low. There was an advantage to Chomsik, but look at Logix. He's built it back the other way. Just laser beaming into the shield of Fusion Uni. And Montreal, this is still smart. When they feel things weren't going their way, they back up. They're going to give up 2 ticks because usually you can't recontest on King's Row anyways.
They're going to give up these ticks. You see the bash come out of the bubble a little bit later, not able to stop the bash. A lot of pressure on Chomsik. Early Transcendence for Alarm.
Well, early Transcendence for Goliath on the other side. It's Transcendence for Transcendence, but not enough to save Gods. He's out of the fight early, but there's the shatter. Chomsik out of the fight. Shriek striking on the other side, but Goliath falling after the Transcendence is done. Very invested here by Montreal. And Fusion Uni just gonna back up, and Montreal, they'll buy some time, but they only have 1 tick to give, and they have to wait for respawns.
Could not clean up the grab. Could not clean up Nice's grab without Chomsik. Chomsik back. We're going to be seeing that aggressive push we see often where Diva Bomb looks to split. You set up your shadow afterwards. But Logix has grab.
Yeah, it's grab versus no Transcendence. You just need to make sure the landed, make sure that's not eaten. The grab isn't eaten. As the faults are going to be there, Shriek gets right in. Nice. Out of the fight immediately. The bomb from Bernard buys him a little bit of protection, but they're still down 1. Shatter coming in from Chomsik. Gonna be knocking down 2. Logix out of the fight. Here comes Bomb from God, still winnable from Montreal. Bomb off on the other side. Forces Fusion Uni back. Transcended, invested, and now Montreal. What a shatter the other side. Shriek knocks down 3. That's going to be cleanup and ult charge directly.
I think that's fine. I don't think they necessarily had to drop that shatter there, but that's besides the point because Shriek just had one of the most clutch charges I've ever seen. He's 0 HP, no barrier after the bomb comes out, and then countercharges Chomsik post-shatter and stops him from cleaning the pincer.
Super good for Montreal. Minute 30 left. They could end King's Row right here with about 2 more good team fights.
Moving forward on the offense, they do have the grab, they do have the rally. They're moving forward, looking to set it up, but Goliath has trance.
They had the bubble Shriek super early. That's why Montreal's going to be giving up some ground, but there's a limit to how much they can give here. Graviton going to be used. They want Shriek down, but the Transcendence in. Still not enough to save Naga. He's bursted down. Discord Orb was on him. Montreal working down the Brigida here. Their sustain going to be awful if this fight continues. They don't wound the other side too mortally. And Fusion Uni, it takes them 3 minutes, but they do get point A.
Good first hold.
Yeah.
Montreal holding for an extended period of time there, forcing ults out of Fusion Uni. So they did build up a lot of percentage in the post-fight after the grab. Now Fusion Uni looking to take second, build up the grab here again. They're going to have ults for that. They're going to have combo along with their double support ults. Montreal need to get some of these out.
And Montreal, I think it's at least 2-fight territory here for point B. Even this next fight isn't good. If they take it quickly and make sure the payload doesn't move, they can come back in with ults and actually ult advantage. So I think at this point, you kind of roll yourself onto the payload and hope that another army finishes the job.
Removing Trance and at least one more ult, maybe even Bomb or Shatter, is as long as they can test the fight here for a while, they don't have to commit anywhere. They're still waiting for grab. Removing 2 ults here, as long as Trance is one of them, they're in a great spot to take second.
Montreal getting back here, actually buying a good amount of time, and they've built enough ults here that this could still be winnable if they want to take it. Sharik drops a hammer, knocks down 2. Bomb coming up here to the backside from Gods. Gonna be doing plenty of shield damage, nothing direct, but look at Gods and where he's at right now. Very good spot.
I mean, the fight's over.
Yeah.
The fight is over. The shatter from Sharik, he saw that the grab came out. There was some displacement there. Puts them on the ground. Gods' bomb splits them even further. Their grab is better because of the split. They win the fight now. They didn't have to worry about just tanking a fight and removing ults. They have won it.
And I think part of that is that Fusion Uni waited a little bit too long to engage that. They just kind of played footsie with Montreal for way too long.
Didn't respect Shriek Shatter either. Sort of the catalyst for the chain of events that allowed them to set up the fight. Fusion Uni now having to recontest, having to move back in to push this apart. They do have Bomb, they do have Rally, they have an initiator.
Oh, are going to use here both teams in Montreal, not wilting under the pressure. They move forward, and this Bomb from Bernard is so far away from the fight that no one from Montreal feels threatened. Instead, they transcend. They're looking for Johnson. They're going to take him down. The aggression from Montreal completely throws Fusion Uni for a loop.
Just running forward when the bomb's out. It's a play we've seen a lot. A lot of teams know how to just run past the bomb when there's nothing holding you there in place. They didn't initiate with Rally, or Fusion Uni did not walk forward with Snillow's Rally and try to hold them into the bomb. They popped it defensively because Montreal walked forward.
And it's just knowing your conditions in Shriek, just staying here at spawn going, I dare you to walk out that door. I got a Shatter, just waiting for you.
Logix has grab here too. If they can use grab not only to win the fight or just remove Nice's grab in return, this is a huge position to be there.
You just gotta hit Fusion Uni with the Brad Rajani, and take a look, Bernard. They get debacked here super early.
Counter grab the Shatter out for Chauncey, but everyone's already dead.
Sharik coming in big off the grab setup from Logix. Final 40 seconds here for Fusion University.
The question here, does Montreal go back to spawn and get Gods? They do, and Gods makes a swap onto May. They're going to look to taxi Gods back and hold them here at the choke, or maybe even at the corner with this May.
If they're not hitting tab constantly, I don't even think they have any idea that the May is in play here.
They're usually going to be completely reliant on their support ult usage. Alarm has Trance, Snillow close to the Rally. If Gods can get a split here, maybe even just split a Trance, split the Rally, it opens up a huge opportunity.
The first wall here has a big opportunity. Not going to be the split he was looking for, though. Just buys really not much.
Not much, though, is time off the clock. Naga investing Rally there just to build some more time. Usually you run away. So they've baited out the Rally. No Rally to worry about.
Alarm almost down. Alarm just ate a whole load of Zen orbs. And now, okay, Shuriken off the coast. That's a nice split. Fusion Uni cut to a degree here by the wall and force out the Transcends early, but Sharik gets focus fired down. Montreal unable to save Sharik.
They're going to commit grab
in a losing fight. I don't know about this one at all. Montreal, let it go.
Montreal really should have let this go. They didn't have to commit anything in that fight. They had removed the Transcendence. That's all they really needed. They could have even taken the next fight because Nice would have had grab. They would have forced it. They would have the next fight, the fight for last. Really did not have to invest that grab, your Logix.
Alrighty, so Fusion Uni gonna be getting point B. Montreal, though, they have put their backs against the wall. And even as Fusion Uni comes in with a bit of an ult advantage, Montreal, again, they can approach this in the way that they didn't on point B and just accept one lost fight and come back in stronger.
I think they just accept the lost fight and engage. They're actually not going to accept the fight, they're going to commit. But then Sharik puts everyone on the ground, no bombs!
It's absolutely gigantic! The Shadow knocks out 4, but the problem is the follow-through. It's simply not there. And Sharik has to be shaking his head at how that turned out, and now the worst part is they're getting staggered while the payload's getting moved.
Gods gets teamed back here as well. He dies. That's actually a blessing, a huge blessing that they kill Gods instead of leaving him out of mech. because he'll be able to respawn. He'll have his ult charge still. Is not forced to swap. They can recontest here, build their grav. There's no beat for Karkar.
Montreal has nothing.
It's all about grav. It's all about grav here for Montreal. They need grav because Karkar does not have beat.
And even still, this is overwhelming advantage for Fusion Uni. They're going to start with the rally, and that's just the appetizer. Get ready for the main course.
There's
Sharik.
the boop on a Sharik.
Oh, Sharik, lucky not to be thrown into ground. Chansik under so much
Logic
pressure.
says grab.
The Trinset. Use the grab later. Here comes the bomb to the back. Dodge builds up in the nick of time. It's right over. Chansik booped and taken down by the bomb. Gods with a well-placed bomb. The boop in from Tensa doing its work. And Montreal might have fought themselves back from the brink. Final 5 seconds, Fusion Uni. There's almost no way they can bring this back. The Transcendence keeping them alive. And now, so as I clean this up properly, so as I stand the payload, it's going to be Montreal evening up the series 1-1.
See the ball stall coming out for Chansik. Did he just fall off the map? Is he even here anymore? Where is he? Where is he? He's underneath. He's underneath the map.
He was desperately trying to bring himself, will himself, back to this plane of existence. Doesn't happen.
Montreal doing it.
Yeah.
It looked really grim for them there. They have the shatter from Sharik, and they try to commit ults. They try to commit in afterwards. And because they commit post-shatter, they get staggered. They get staggered, even though they force beat. They use their trance, they get staggered. But by forcing that transcendence early with their focus fire, by not losing anyone, staying alive and setting up their own grav in return, they managed to make it work.
And what more can you say? A highly aggressive defense coming out of it from Montreal. They regained their footing. They looked a lot better in the neutral game, and they fought Fusion Uni tooth and nail the entire way. And I mean, credit to Fusion Uni for making a valiant last stand over and over again. They came very close to forcing extra rounds, but Montreal refound what they're good at here. Their front tank line, superb. Logics, of course, multiple good moments, and they're taking Fusion University to task 1-1 here at the half. We got to take a quick break, but when we come back, second half heading right at you.